The Boston Red Sox rotation is going to be a big topic in the coming weeks because, as of right now, the Red Sox have a six-man rotation planned for the next week or so. However, they're not planning on keeping a six-man rotation for the long term. Plus, Garrett Whitlock will be soon eligible to come off the injured list when he is healthy. So the Red Sox have a lot of questions in this rotation. Who stays in the rotation? Maybe someone goes to the bullpen. Maybe someone gets sent down. There's a lot of question marks about this rotation and what happens in it. So we're going to break it down right here on the Bleacher Brawls YouTube channel. My name is Derek. I'm here with Luke, and let's dive straight into it. So as I said, big questions in this rotation. I'll hand it off to Luke first. Just what are your overall thoughts on the rotation plan for next week? Because right now, your six-man rotation is Sale, Kluber, Pivetta, Bello, Houck, and whatever, and then James Paxton, whichever order it's going to be. What are your thoughts on that rotation?
I think, well, they already said they're going to do the six-man for at least one turn. I don't think they'll do it for more than two turns. They're adding in Paxton. I don't think, by adding in Paxton, I don't think this early they're going to ship someone out to the bullpen or certainly not DFA anybody. I think they'll go with that six-man, Sale, Kluber, Whitlock, Bello, Pivetta, Paxton, for maybe two turns. But I just don't think... I don't see Paxton doing that well, and because of that, I don't see them electing to say, okay, we'll send Pivetta to the bullpen and we'll replace him with Paxton. I know that's kind of the trendy take right now is, all right, move Pivetta to the bullpen because he's had a couple bad starts. Well, that's kind of what Nick Pivetta is. He'll give you a few good starts, he'll give you a few bad starts, and he'll give you mostly in-between starts. That's basically what a fifth starter is, and that's kind of what he is. It's what I see him as. I see him as this team's fifth starter. I see kind of him and Kluber as the team's co-fifth starters, so the fourth and fifth starters. I think Paxton gets a shot. I think if his Paxton's shot is a shot to replace Pivetta, I think they might be considering that, but I don't think they're going to be considering for long because I think Paxton's performance is just going to force them to just dismiss that outright. I don't think Paxton's going to do well at the major league level, especially not as a starting pitcher. So I think they'll try these two turns and they'll decide Paxton is not it. And I think they will either try Paxton out in the bullpen or DFA him. And just because he made his $20 million last year, he's only making $4 million this year. It's not that big of a salary dump if they just DFA him and pay him $4 million, well, 3.75, what, $3.25 million to play for somebody else. My starting five is Sale, Kluber, Whitlock, Bello, and Pivetta. Houck moves to the bullpen before long, and I think Paxton is kind of ruled out of this whole discussion before long.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion with this rotation. Like there's seven options, right? And there's a chance it works itself out with an injury or two, or one guy gets injured and then they just move someone else to the pen. There's a chance it all works itself out, and the Red Sox don't have to really make a decision. However, and that's what you would think normally happens, but maybe that doesn't work itself out, and the Red Sox are going to have to make a tough decision because the optics of DFAing James Paxton so soon after him just coming back isn't ideal, so I think they have to give him at least a little bit of run in the rotation, at the very least, a few weeks. If he's healthy, obviously. That's the big thing with him. Pivetta, who knows, because yes, he had a rough start against Atlanta, but he is very up and down. He could come back his next start and have a very good start, so I don't really know where they feel on him. You look at a guy like a Brian Bello. He was good his last start against Atlanta. His last three starts, he's been solid. But he has options left. He can be sent down to the minor leagues, whereas guys like Sale and Pivetta and Kluber and Paxton, none of those guys can be sent to the minor leagues, and they're not going to send Houck or Whitlock down. I'm not sure if they have options, but even if they do, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to send those guys down. So, and then you have the Houck and Whitlock do one of them could move to the bullpen, right? I think your only locks for rotation as of right now, if everyone is healthy, is Chris Sale and Corey Kluber. Sale's been good recently, and even Kluber's been solid recently. He hasn't been amazing, hasn't like been blowing people away, but he's put up. I think his last like 2 or 3 starts have been just solid, nothing amazing, but getting the job done. And I think the Red Sox will be fine with that. It's just how do they feel, with the other guys? Do they want to send Bello down to keep the other guys and maybe have more depth in case of injuries? Because there is a little bit of struggles going on with the guys in AAA right now. Like Brian Mattis having some troubles, and he just went on the injured list with shoulder inflammation, I think. Brandon Walter struggled a little bit. Chris Murphy has struggled. So looking AAA, there maybe isn't necessarily a guy who's like ready right away right now that they want to call up. You do have the thing was, you have Cutter Crawford in the bullpen. He's on the injured list now. So it gets a little bit rough in terms of, I don't think they just DFA anyone right now. And yeah, you could move a Pivetta to the pen and kind of put him in this kind of old school long relief role. I think would work well for him. I don't know if they would do that. It's just, there are a lot of options, but it feels like whatever way you do it, someone's going to come out on the short end of the stick. Someone's going to be upset. But they got to make a decision at some point.
And it makes the perfect sense that Paxton is the guy that gets upset. He's the guy that is not. He hasn't pitched in 4 years, really. And he's not. There's no reason to expect him to just come back. He was struggling in the minor leagues. There's no reason to expect him to come into Boston in playing games in this division where it's just going to be a gauntlet running through this season, competing with 5 teams that are good enough to be probably 5 teams that are good enough to win the 5 other divisions in baseball, and expect him to hold up under that kind of pressure, and expect his arm to hold up under a full major league season. There's no reason to think that he can do it, and he hasn't put the work in. He hasn't put the time. He's put the work into getting back and everything, rehab and stuff, but he hasn't put in the innings on the field to show that he's going to be a reliable starter. The way, say what you will about Nick Pivetta, he's up, he's down, he eats innings. He makes every start out there. He's got the 10 most innings. I don't know if it starts or innings in the last couple years in all of Major League Baseball.
He's got the 10th most starts since 2020, which was his first year with the Red Sox.
Okay, so he's a one of those grinder guys. He eats a lot of innings, which is important, and it's not like he's eating innings to the tune of a 6 ERA. He's pretty much a 4.5 ERA guy, which I think of as average. In Major League Baseball. 4.50
ERA is 6 innings, 3 runs, which is a quality start.
That's a quality start, so that's above average.
You can look at it that way.
Yeah, and so I think he's got a lot of value to the team. I don't think the organization has given thought one to move him to the bullpen. And you got a guy like Tanner Houck out there in the bullpen that he started off. I mean, I think people are still kind of talking about, well, Houck has been the best starting pitcher on the team so far. Well, he had been the best starting pitcher in a rotation where nobody else was giving any quality innings pretty much at all. And he was chewing up 5 innings a start for a while and doing pretty well, which was great. Which is a very handy resource to have at that point in the season where you had a lot of people come back from injuries, a lot of people struggling to get reacclimated to the major league schedule. But Tanner Houck has a huge upside as a reliever. They've got a really good bullpen right now anyway. You get another starting pitcher. You get 5 other starting pitchers that you feel good about. You put him in the bullpen, all of a sudden you're pitching. If it's a big game, you got a 5 inning. You just need 5 innings from the starter, and then you go to Houck, you go to Martin, you go to Schreiber, you go to Jansen. So, I mean, I think that's what makes the most sense. Unless Paxton lights the world on fire, give him his, the couple starts to show that he can't do it, which I don't think there's any way he's going to do decently. He's going to get rocked, or he's going to get hurt again right away. Move on from James Paxton, and move Houck to the bullpen, and then you got your 5 guys, and plus you got Crawford in the bullpen as the long man. And I don't want to hear about Bello going to the minor league, not from you, but from the organization. what good is it going to do him to go back down and eat up minor league lineups for any more time? He's at the next spot, the next step in his development. He's got to pitch and at the major league level. He's 24 years old or 23.
Some 23 or 20, one of the two.
I think he's 23.
I think
So
he is. Too.
look at the game he had last night against Wednesday night against Atlanta. He can do this. And if he's going to be the ace of the future, get him up there and get his feet wet now and let him work up to that ace potential.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Bello isn't like more people think he's going to go down to AAA. I think it's more of like a worry about, well, he has options. So that's my worry. That's my biggest worry with Bello is that they're going to go, well, he has options, other guys don't, and we don't have to DFA someone or send someone to the bullpen, and we can send him down. And it's what happened with Tanner Houck in 2021 with Martin Perez and Garrett Richards. Sometimes it happens. You don't want to see it happen, but it's an option. Unfortunately, it is.
Do you think that would be a smart move, moving him into the minor leagues to make room in the rotation for James Paxton?
It depends. As of right now, I want them to piggyback Paxton with either Houck or Bello, just because you at least keep Houck and Bello stretched out. But if Paxton goes down, you have whoever's piggybacking with him can just start in his place and be a normal starter. And I understand, then Whitlock eventually comes back, and then it gets a little bit more tough, and then that might be when Bello gets sent down. It's really hard. I do gotta say Tanner Houck, he has been their most consistent start. The one thing that makes his numbers look worse is that 1 6-run inning against Toronto. You take out that 1 6-run inning, his numbers look a lot better. It's just that one inning that kind of blew up in his face. Because right now this year is 37 2/3 innings pitched and he's given up 22 earned. You take away one inning from that and you take away 6 runs, it looks a heck of a lot better, right? So I think I'm not saying how could be very good in the bullpen. I think as of right now they need to keep him in the rotation. But it gets really tough because, like I said, I think they go with the 6-man rotation until Whitlock is ready, which I don't think will be that far off. I think that's only a week or so away. And then when Whitlock's ready, then you make it. Then that's when the real decision I think comes, because I think there's a chance they not only bring Whitlock in. I think that could also be when they go to a 5-man rotation from a 6-man. So that would mean 2 people are leaving the rotation, or Whitlock's going straight to the pen off the injured list, right? And then one person still has to leave the rotation. So the decisions they make,
and that's not going to happen. Whitlock's not going to. They have no interest in putting Whitlock.
Well, that's why
they
signed him to that extension. They're not going to send him to the pen, right? So I'm just saying they could, but it's 99.9% sure that they're not going to do that. They're going to put him in the rotation. So
that's why I see it the way I see it. I mean, it's simple to me. You give Paxton his 2 turns. Say Paxton lights the world on fire, then I think, which is the best case scenario, you stick with the 6-man rotation until he's not lighting the world on fire, because it's not going to last long. But he's not going to light the world on fire. So there's got to be 2 odd men out. It's simple to me. You move on from Paxton, and you put Houck in the bullpen. What are the 2 moves that you would make?
As of right now, I like the 6-man rotation. Also, too, I think it benefits not only Paxton, but it also benefits Bello. In the minor leagues, I don't know if people know this, but they don't play on Mondays. So they only play Tuesday through Sunday. They play 6 games a week. In minor league teams, 99% of them have a 6-man rotation. So you just make 1 start a week, the same day every week. The next few weeks, the Red Sox have off days only on Thursday.
Sorry. But if you got a 6-man rotation, that means you only got 7 relievers.
But here's my thing with that though. I think you have guys in the bullpen, and you have the off days necessary where you can make it work. For example, when you look at the off days they have 1 off day every week for the next 5 weeks, and I think the next 3 weeks the off day is on Thursday every single week. So they can really they can really make it to where, okay, right, and maybe you have to use your back end of a bullpen a little bit more, which isn't necessarily ideal, but Joely Rodriguez is coming back. That's another bullpen arm that's going to add to the piece. That could get rid of Ryan Brazier. right there. Joely Rodriguez coming back, right? And then you look at a bullpen with Rodriguez, Bleacher, and Bernardino as your lefties, and then your righties. Is your worst righty John Schreiber? Is it Josh? Who's your worst righty? Schreiber, Winkowski, Martin, Jansen. Like those would be your four righties with Joely Rodriguez, Richard Bleacher, and Brendan Bernardino, right? Because
But you can't overwork them.
No,
And
I understand that.
I don't like the idea of, well, you got the off days so you can plan around it. Well, you get one unexpected rain out and you got to throw a double header. You got to play a double header at some point.
Yeah, but you get a 27th man at the same time for a double header. So you get to bring you can bring a pitcher up for the double header.
Oh, I didn't know you could add an extra man on the roster for a double header.
Headers. Yeah, so they can call someone up. But yeah, it's not that's the most ideal scenario. But I like it more than trying to move a Pivetta or Houck to the pen right now. And I don't think they necessarily need Houck in the pen right this second. Right? And Houck, every single start so far this year for Houck, 5 innings, 4 innings, then 7 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings, 5 2/3. So Houck's been giving you a starter's workload. Pivetta, as much as he's up and down, gives you a starter's workload. Right, these guys can constantly get into the 5th and 6th inning.
Sale gives you a starter's workload. Believe it or not.
Exactly. Right. If these guys and Bello's been giving it to you his last 3 starts, 5, 6 innings. If these guys can get you into the 5th or into the 5th and 6th inning, or like you're looking at a bullpen that shouldn't be overworked because of that. And you have 7 guys in there. A guy like a Bernardino can throw 2 innings on a night. A Winkowski can throw 2 innings on the night. So you still have a little bit of maneuverability in that pen. And then I think Whitlock does come back sooner than later. So I think there's a chance you see Whitlock back in the next 10 days.
Joely, can you look up when he's eligible to return, actually?
He's already eligible to return.
Joely Rodriguez comes back. I don't know that they roll with 3 lefties in the bullpen. That's another
I think they do.
Question.
I think they do. I think because here's this question: would you rather have Ryan Brazier or a Bleacher or one of Bleacher and Bernardino? I'll take both of those.
Yeah, I'd take anybody over Brazier. But
now they could send Bernardino down just because he has options, and it comes back to that whole thing of having options. I don't think they do that because he's pitched very well for them. I think that could be the time where Brazier leaves. And if he somehow doesn't leave then, I think when Whitlock comes, he's gone. He's getting DFA'd.
Yeah, he's not going to make it the next week. So when can Whitlock come back?
I think he still has like a week or so.
Really?
Because pitchers have to go on the 15-day injured list, not the 10.
Right, but...
And he went on the injured list about a week ago or so.
A week ago? That was it? God, it feels like it was like 2.5 weeks ago.
Maybe it was a little bit later, but still, I think I saw something that says like about 7 to 10 days. I think I saw that either yesterday or the day before.
So you could have a 6-man rotation with 3 lefties in the bullpen and 4 righties in the bullpen.
6-man rotation, 4 righties, 3 lefties. Yeah.
So that, but then
so Whitlock was retroactive to April 25th. So he's actually he's eligible now to come off the.
Yeah, he can come back any day now.
Yeah,
and then Crawford's got to come back at some point too.
Exactly. That's why I say this whole pitching staff is a Bello logjam.
So yeah, I say Brazier goes, Paxton goes, and Houck goes.
It's
in the
tough,
bullpen.
Exactly, especially when you consider the bullpen.
It's a good problem to have, but it's not in that nobody else. You can't send anybody down except Bello, and I'm definitely against sending Bello down. Well, and Bernardino, so it's going to be Bernardino going down. Huh?
I think Cutter Crawford could be sent down too, but I don't think they'll do that.
I don't want to see that either.
No, I don't think they'll do it. I'm just saying he's another guy. I'm pretty sure he has options left, but I don't think they'll do it. But yeah, Bernardino could be, and I think Bello could be, just because you only have 13 spots for pitchers, and with all the guys coming off the IL, you're running out of spots, right?
All right. So I say, you get a 5-man of Sale, Kluber, Whitlock, so long term, like long run, you got a 5-man of Sale, Kluber, Whitlock, Bello and Pivetta, and then you got in the bullpen you got Jansen, Martin, Schreiber, Hauk, um,
Winkowski.
Winkowski. Oh, forgot about Winkowski too.
Yes.
Winkowski, um, Bernardino. No, yes, Bernardino,
Bernardino. You only
Rodriguez,
and then it's either
and
Blyer or Crawford.
Crawford. Those are
Yeah,
my eight.
it's
So
so
Blyer's got to
it's
go.
super hard. They have now, like I said, I think there's a chance there'll probably be a couple more injuries, and these problems will kind of solve themselves because it's super rare that everyone's going to be healthy at the same exact time for
Right.
a long stretch. So it'll probably end up solving itself out a little bit more. But yeah, when you start thinking about it in terms of everyone healthy, it's really hard to figure out. I think that's
And
a
we
really
haven't
good.
even seen Rodriguez. I don't know that I'd rather have him over Blyer, but I don't think you can just have a guy come back from an injury when he hasn't played yet and get rid of him. That seems kind of nasty.
Yeah, they're going to be in a really weird situation, but we'll see. We'll leave it to you guys in the comments. What do you guys think about this whole Red Sox pitching stuff? It's super hard. Give us your 13. Give us your 5 starters, 8 relievers, or 6 starters, 7 relievers, or however you want to do it. Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post. And check out all our Bleacher Brawls links in the comments. The website, Instagram, podcast, and Twitter are all down there, plus all the crew's Twitters. So for Luke, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls, and I'll see you next time.